Are you somewhere in your lock journey right now thinking, I'm kind of tired of these jives? I'm just over this lock journey. I wonder what my natural curl pattern would be right now. I kind of want my loose natural hair back. Maybe I should comb them out. Well, hold on. Stop. Wait. Before you comb anything out, watch this video because I have some things you might want to consider before combing those locks out. What is up, Flockers? That is my fellow lockers and aspiring lockers. Let's go ahead and get into this list of things that you should consider before combing out your locks. The first thing you should consider is how much time, money, and investment you have already put into this lock journey. Now, if you're only a month or two in, then this video probably is not for you because you have not put in a lot of time, money, or investment into your locks, potentially. But for those that have been on this lock journey for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and you're sitting there on your couch or at your table or at work wondering, man, I'm kind of tired of my hair in this state and I just want to see what it looks like back in its natural state of natural loose hair, my curl pattern, whatever the case may be for you. If you've put in a lot of time and money and investment, then you know that this lock journey, it's a journey. It is frustrating at times. It is annoying at times. It can be to the point where you just want to shave your head off because you're just tired of the way that your locks look at certain points in the journey. But your journey is your journey and it is a beautiful thing. So you know that the longer you hang in there, the more rewards you have from your hair. Now, if you're just tired of the style and ready to move on to something else, then that's a different story. But don't comb your locks out on a whim just really quickly because you just want a quick change, but then you're gonna end up wanting to go back to your locks anyways. Speaking from experience, I have combed out my locks before, and every single time I comb out my locks, I end up back with locks in my head within 6 months or a year. I think I've combed out 3 sets of locks, and every time I do it, I feel so great and liberated at the end of that long, arduous process. But then a good 6 months after I've combed out my locks, each time I have regretted it and I've been like, man, I want my locks back. And not that I regretted changing my hair up, but every time I end up going back to locks. So if they keep bringing me back in, why do I keep trying to push them out? The number 2 reason that you should think twice before combing out your locks is that it is a very long and tiring and tedious process. When I had traditional locks, they were a lot thicker. They probably equaled 4 or 5 of my Microlocs for one traditional lock. And the process of me combing them out, whether I did the whole head myself or whether I had other people helping me, always took weeks and weeks. I think the quickest it was ever done was in a matter of 3 weeks, and that was spending a good amount of time throughout the day or at night when I was done with work, sitting there, putting conditioner on my hair to loosen it up, combing through because I didn't want to just comb through and damage my hair any more than it was already damaged. So I would comb through lightly with the rat tail comb or with the pin needle or something. It just takes a long time. Your hands get cramped, your arms get cramped. It's not a quick process. It's not one of those things that you're going to be able to be like, cool, I want to take my locks out before the wedding I have to be at in a week. Unless you have a lot of help and a lot of hours to sit there and do nothing but that, it's gonna take you a long time and you might not make it to that wedding with your loose natural hair. The number 3 reason that you might want to consider before you go and comb out your locks is what your relationship was with your loose natural hair before. Now, there's nothing wrong with loose natural hair. Loose natural hair is beautiful, but let's not kid ourselves. We all know that it is a lot of work, just like locks have times when they were a lot of work, but loose natural hair and the maintenance of it is a lot of work. Unless you have a very, very loose and wavy curl pattern, then chances are your wash days can be tedious and take a long time. Styling your hair can take a long time and be tedious. It's just a very long process in managing your natural hair. So before you go and comb those locks out, try and think back to when you did have loose natural hair and try to remember the reasons you got locks in the first place. Did you get locks in the first place because you were tired of having to spend hours upon hours on wash days in your bathroom, washing, detangling, pre-pooing, shampooing, conditioning, deep conditioning, setting, rolling, all that stuff? Maybe that isn't your experience, but I know for a lot of people it is. For me as a guy, it took me a long time, and I'm not even trying to do all these beautiful styles and have my hair look in a certain way. But when my hair was loose natural, even the detangling and, you know, pre-poo and washing and things like that, and deep conditioning so that my hair would be in good condition to even do chunky 2-strand twist or something to wear my hair out, it just was a long process and not one that I enjoyed. The fourth reason that you need to consider before combing your locks out is that damaged locks will break off. Damaged hair will break off. So if you've done a lot of dyeing and frying of your locks, like I did in my first lock journey where I dyed the ends, and then on top of that I had dyed it multiple times, as locks, they looked healthy, they looked fine, they didn't look like they had any issues. But when I went to comb those things out, the amount of damage that was there, that was within the locks, on the outside the locks look healthy, but on the inside as I was combing them through, I saw that the bleach that had gone into the locks, obviously because you cannot wash your hair as well when they're in locks as you can when it's loose natural hair. And so despite all of the amount of rinsing that I did when I had bleach in my hair, I apparently did not get all of the bleach out, or I don't know, but it just was over processed on the inside. My ends were damaged, and keep in mind, the hair was damaged. Your locks aren't getting the same type of care that your loose natural hair does. So even if you are moisturizing your locks, you're putting oil on your locks or whatever your regimen may be, you're not hitting every single strand of hair from the root to the tip like you would if it were natural loose hair. And so in essence, as time goes on and your hair is locking, and it's locking on top of itself, you're not going to be able to saturate every strand with whatever product that you are putting on your hair, whether it's just a light mixture of water and oil or rose water or whatever it may be. So over time, your hair does get brittle and damaged. And like I said, when it's in locks, it's fortified, it's strong because it's got all of its buddies and stuff around it. But when you comb it out and you break it back up into its individual state and it has to stand on its own, it's not gonna have that same foundation as it did when it was in a lock. And so you have to be ready and prepared for your hair to break off and to be a lot more brittle than it was when it was in the locked form. And the fifth reason that you really need to take into account that a lot of people don't account for is that you are going to lose a lot of your length. The first set of locks that I combed out, they were probably down to, I said in the previous video, down to about nipple length. And I know some people are like, why he gotta say nipple? And it's because I don't wear a bra, so I can't say bra strap length or anything like that. But they were at nipple length. But when I combed them out, I lost some length. I'm not gonna say that I combed them out and my hair was up here, but my loose natural hair was shorter than the locks. So if your locks are down to your butt, when you comb them out, you're gonna lose some of the length. Your length might only be up to here. So if you're fine with that, then that's fine. But if you're expecting your loose natural hair to be the same length as your locks are, that's not the case, because you're constantly shedding hair as your locks grow out, and that dead hair for the most part is staying within the locks. And so your loose natural hair is not going to be as long. And just like I said in the last point, you're probably going to have a little bit of breakage within taking out your locks from all of the time that you've spent with your hair in the lock state. So you're going to lose some of your length. All right, so I don't know if I convinced you not to comb out your locks and stay on this lock journey or not, but I hope that this information was helpful and got you thinking. If you enjoyed this content, please make sure to hit that like button so I know that you enjoyed this content. And also make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you join the flock. While you're here, go ahead and click on one of these other videos so that you can keep up with other things that I've got going on my channel.